Hello, everybody. You want to design something to 3D print. Yes, you could probably find files to download um, and print some, but it's always more fun to make something yourself. So there's lots of software out there to 3D design. So just Google 3D design software, and you'll see them. Some are downloads, a couple are browser based. Some cost money, some are free. So see what you get. All3dp.com is a nice website that's good 3D printing website. But like some of the basics are Tinkercad, which is free, browser based, and I use that a bunch, and that's a great one for schools. Um, SketchUp, depending on if you're in school or if you're K-12 or higher, whether it's free or cost. Fusion 360, SelfCAD, OpenSCAD, BlocksCAD, all sorts of different ways. I tend to just play with Tinkercad because I deal more with K-12 and want to get people started. So here's Tinkercad. There's a couple ways. So I'm going to show you a little bit how to do a thing in Tinkercad. So you come to Tinkercad, you click on you get free account, log in, boom, and you go to designs. And actually, it's got more than just 3D design. You can do circuits and code blocks, which is a whole other things. And then so we want to make a new one. So let's get started on one easy way is you can actually import some images. Now, it only imports certain images, so you do need to pay attention to that. You need to import an STL, an OBJ, or an SVG. The image we'll be looking for is going to be an SVG. Now, there's this great website called the Noun Project, and you can search for images that are free to use, so they're not copyrighted, kind of thing. And they allow you to get some SVGs. You can just Google for SVGs if you wanted to, but I tend to use Noun Project, and I've been doing a bunch of stuff with pollinators lately, so I'm gonna Google for butterfly, and here are all the butterfly images. Now you got to remember when you like 3D printing, things have to be connected, otherwise they're not going to stay connected when you pull the print off. So pay attention to that. Like this would work because all the lines are connected. What wouldn't work? This probably wouldn't work because those connections right there are like really, really not good. I saw some on here that were like this one here. The antenna aren't connected, so none of this is connected. So that would not work as a good 3D print unless you put it on a base plate, basically. Like here, these aren't connected unless you put it on a base plate. Kind of defeats the purpose. So you got to find something like, oh, none of this stuff is connected. So those would have to be holes somehow. So let's just start with some simple. This one's all nice and connected. I have actually downloaded one, but let's think. I downloaded this one. Okay, so let's see. Let's just see. So we're going to get this icon, and it's a basic download. It doesn't cost us anything. We have to hit continue, and we're going to download the SVG. All right, so remember that goes into your downloads file. Then we come back to our Tinkercad, and we want to import that. So choose your file. Yeah, I had done another one before. All right, let's go here. Open. It's going to bring it in at 700 by 700, which is really big. And even though it's millimeters, that's 70 centimeters. So we kind of don't want that. Think 100 millimeters is 10 centimeters, which is the size of your palm. Now it's doing that because my Tinkercad is set. If you look down here, it's set in millimeters. You could set it in inches if you wanted to. So there's what it did. There's how it imported. I'll bring the ruler over. Just drop it anywhere. And it's saying, and I don't know why the Tinkercad is importing it at 66%. Because we said 100 by 100, right? Yeah, for some reason it's importing it at 2/3 the size, which is irrelevant because we can change the size here. Again, I said 100 was the palm of your hand. So I'm going to click here and change it to the palm of your hand. Now, 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter thick, which is basically the width of your pinky fingernail. That's like pretty thick. So I don't want to do that. So there we go, 3. So think like we're making an ornament that we're going to hang on something. You know, if you wanted this to be like a necklace or an earring, obviously you would make it smaller, right? But this is the basic design. You're bringing an SVG, you can adjust the size, and then I can come over here and grab a hole. That's an awful big hole. Even a centimeter would be a big hole. Let's go 5 by 5. 5 millimeters is half a centimeter. I just want a hole that I could, you know, put a hanger through or a string through. So I could hang this kind of like an ornament. And I can look up here and click up from a better view. All right, and then there's home. It does not matter how tall a hole is because it's going to go away. Now I need to kind of click and drag and select all. You can also like Command A or Control A to select all. And then I want to group those. Boom. So there's my butterfly with a hole. Now the next step you need to do is export and export the STL. Boom, there's an STL. Now Tinkercad has some funky names. You might want to change the name before you actually export. Butterfly 1. And now you have now you've exported an STL. We're going to export STL. You've exported that STL. Now you go on to step 2, which is taking that STL into a slicer software like Ultimaker, Cura slicer. So that's the next step. Now let's just design something here in Tinkercad. So let's go back to, you know, the grid. The checkerboard puts me in here. Get new 3D design. Here's the basic waste design. It's got shapes. They've got shapes. They got text. They've got tons of shapes over here. Design starters, creature characters, machines, hardware, feature, all sorts of things. I'm just going to stick with basic shapes. We're going to make a name tag. So we bring this over. And again, if you don't think in millimeters, you can come down here to settings and change this to inches if you think better in inches. Okay? And then this snap grid here is set it to what you want, again in inches. And what that does is every time you hit the mouse, or not the mouse, the arrow keys, it moves something that far. That's the most important thing with the snap. All right, so name tag, keychain, something like that. Again, 20 millimeters is 2 centimeters. I kind of want to make it 3 centimeters. No, it's 10. I'm going to go 6 centimeters across. Nope, not 600. And I'm going to go, 2 centimeters up is good. Let's grab the ruler tool, throw it down here. And that gives me everything now. I only want this to be like not 1 centimeter. I really want it to be like 2 millimeters thick. I'm just putting a plate. This is a base plate to print on, you know, for a keychain. Now 2 is good for a keychain, right? Okay. You know, it depends if you're laser cutting or 3D printing. So there we go. Now we want some text. We're going to put, you know, our name on it. All right, so grab text, and over here it says text. Boom. There are only a few text things here. There's another way to get different text styles in here, but that's for more advanced. So here we go. Now we can make this all smaller. We can grab corners and make it smaller like that. I don't want it to be 10. That's a whole centimeter of printing. I just want it to be something. So again, this is 1. So I want to make this taller than 1 so that it can stick out. All right. Now I want to place this on here. Now I could just place it on here and be good with where it goes, right? But if you select both of them, and I just clicked and dragged over, or you can, Command A, Control A, and there's this tool up here called Align. See these dots that show up? I can center it and center it if I want to. Now, that because the P's down below and the L's up above, I probably need to make that name a little bit smaller, right? Let's get a better angled view of it. Okay, I probably need to make that 15. Let's do that. Okay, now let's center it again. All right, now we're in the plate. All right. So if I want to stay in the center of the plate, that would be awesome. But I actually don't. I want to move it offset a little bit. So again, here's what I can do. I can move either of them. If I click on the plate and then hit my arrow just a one, it's going to move it to that 1 millimeter. So I can offset it a little bit because, again, I want to put a hole. It's a keychain. So I want to put a hole here. I'm going to make it 4. And then I can bring it in here. I mean, if you wanted to center it, we could do that. But first, I'd want to group. I need to group these two. So I selected both of those, and I hit group. Now they are one object, and they will move as one. Okay. So now I'm going to center this. You're going to watch this. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Edit, undo. Alrighty, one more time. I want to align this, center it, and I'm going to left justify it. Okay, now I want to push that in a little bit. If I hit my arrow key 1, it pushed it in 1 millimeter. Arrow key a second time and put it in a 2 millimeter, right? So that's what I'm going to do. So you can justify things, left, center, right kind of thing, and then move them just how far you want to do it. And then I got to group it. So there is my keychain. And it is 6 centimeters across and 2 centimeters up. It is 3 millimeters thick. If we're done designing, we come up here. Oh, I need to rename it. Paul keychain. Alrighty. And then I need to export the STL. Ta-da! And then I take that STL into a slicer file. So that's some basics on designing 3D stuff. Have at it.